This is the Solar Plexus, which is a yellow, gorgeous lemon quartz. And I decided to build with this one. I wanted to show you guys, I'm building a really high bezel. You can see it's way higher than I need it to be. And sometimes I really like building some height up on my bezel. You know, so on this whole series, sometimes I show building really high, sometimes low. I kind of love this. I actually could have used the sides to put some granulation, which I may do, but this one actually, I'm just gonna show you, this is from Bezels Expanded. I soldered two bezels together, have my sides done. Now what I'm gonna do is a little different type of bezel attachment here. I'm just going to actually attach a square wire, 18 gauge to the back, and, you know, to do a different attachment. One thing I want to mention, I showed some pieces where I cut out a lot in the background. This one, because it is stacked so high, the bottom of this piece is not going to matter so much. But what I do, I don't want my gem to sit so far down inside here where the point comes through the bottom. Sometimes I have pieces like that. With this piece, what I really wanted to do is just to bring some light in from the back to make this piece look beautiful and shiny. So I definitely am gonna seal up the back. And what I'm gonna be showing you here is just really how I raise and elevate this piece. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of granulation on the side of here. If you guys wanna watch, I'll just go ahead and show you my way on how I, you know, sometimes what I'll do is I'll attach the solder. Ooh, let me get my soldering boards. Remember, I don't wanna I like really having this clean area for you guys. Gets up really high, but I like having this clean area. I'm gonna dip everything. Since you guys really know the soldering process, I'm not gonna have to show you everything, but I'll just show you little tidbits here and there through this whole process. So for me, what I'm gonna do is get my torch. Okay, get my medium solder, clean this up. I wanna get this right in the center. So I'm gonna actually sweat solder some of this right onto the center, right here. There we go. Should be more than enough. I kind of like going this long way. I actually love using my clips. Let me dump this in so I can hold it for a second and adjust it. Side that is soldered. Okay, so this one actually has is that my solder? Yep, here's my solder. This one actually has, I just want to make sure it's straight down the center, so I'm going to get the bottom of this piece nice and hot. There we go, bring it down here. There we go. You just, wherever the heat goes, as you guys know, is where my solder is gonna flow. So that's it there. I'll be showing you how I'm doing some lifting. Okay, have my in here. I really like how it comes right across the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this stone. I'm gonna hold it in the center. With these type of bezels, you don't want to get it rocking. You wanna make sure it's even. So really, you know, I think for me, I feel like the secret of success for these rose cut, the tall rose cut, is really holding it in the center, going around your whole piece to make sure all of it's covered and everything's sitting equally. I'm not hitting my stone at all with my pliers, and it's sitting nice and beautiful and flush. Love it here. I actually can use this like a lazy Susan here. Okay. Now I'm gonna get in with my burnisher, which, you know, this actually, this one really helps to heat it up and, you know, really get your piece right over the top of this. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Because you don't want it to catch when you're walking around in the world. But once you get this part done, this really brings the rest of your bezel sides down beautifully. Not touching the top of my stone at all. So that's beautiful. And then when I get to this point, I'm going to use the rocker just to make sure that everything is in place. Oh, beautiful. Here is my solar plexus chakra. I have a little bit of the granulation, so it's done, and you can see the light is getting in through the back end. So look at that sparkle, guys, okay? Okay, you guys, bezel number 6. This is the throat chakra. This is the one where I put a little message underneath. I decided to use the carbon pencil under here. So, you know, of course you could use any color paper, you could use anything under here. And this is like a little message, it's a power signal for me, symbol, and I will be setting the stone. So you'll be able to see this right under here like this. Other suggestions that I have, you know, for something like this is you could embed strings or notes, and I certainly have done things like that before. And you could see, like, this is blue, but it just gives it some wonderful texture under there with both of them. Actually, I might set it exactly like this. I've already put the liver sulfur on, so I have my message under, and then I just bundled up a little bit of string just to show, like, hey, who says you can't have all of this under here? This actually is aquamarine. It doesn't have the most perfect, you know, it's not the most perfectly clear. So I think this will be really fun to set this with the threads under. It already has liver sulfur. I'll wait to polish this. And you know what? It's a pretty low setting, so I'm going to keep it the way it is and just rock it in. The, you know, this actually really helped the thread, helped to kind of lift it exactly where I want it to be. So when you're working with the long totems like this, you want to think about, you know, you just want to think about whether you're inhaling, exhaling, whether you're going to use a really high, you know, use it really high with your stone or use it low. And just go ahead and get this set. I'm not touching my stone at all. I'm just kind of rocking this forward with my bezel. My finger is here so it doesn't reach my stone, which is also, again, why it's kind of hard to show on film, right, guys? This is my rocker that I have. It's plastic. Now I can really rock into my stone with this once I get all the pieces moved into place. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. If I seal it up really good, I don't have to worry about, you know, any water getting inside here to get at my threads, strings, symbolism. Oh my gosh, so excited about this piece. I just love it. So this is the throat chakra, and we'll be adding this to the totem. Okay, you guys, last but not least is the second chakra, the sacral chakra. Not least because we still have the root chakra to go. But this one I decided to do a little bit fancier only because, you know, in the course where actually this is the creativity chakra. This is the one that just brings a lot of, you know, just emotional opening opening things up, communications, all that type of stuff. So anyway, these are my stones. I could have picked this carnelian. I could have picked a honey quartz. Well, I ended up picking this shape of a honey quartz. But what I wanted to show you on the back is I didn't have to worry about keeping the back so clean, although it is. But I wanted to introduce, think about metallic nail polish. It dries so super quick. We don't have to wait for hours and hours like protectant sealants. You could do a clear coat if you wanted clear. I could do an orange in the background. This is one that I love myself, but these metallics are just beautiful. And you know, you just do a coat or two. This one would have been really nice for that amethyst, you know. And I also, don't forget, I get the sides of it. That's gonna coat the back and keep it bright, and you won't have any troubles. Now, This is just gonna take a second, and you know it's just going, how it can alter the colors by keeping it vibrant. I mean, think about the different colors that you can put through here. So, you know, with the orange chakra, if I really did want to show orange, I could do the back in an orange enamel. So this enamel. Okay, there is the sacral chakra, and another technique for you, nail polish. It's an enamel paint with a quick drying alcohol in here, so it's dry. Well, all of us women know how quickly it dries, right guys? Okay. Okay, you guys, this is just a little extra one. This I'm going to use for the root chakra. Oh my gosh, I was struggling between a few of them. You know, this is the rose quartz, but I thought what I wanted to do was take one of my small pieces right for the tail end and do the root chakra. I actually already had these made from a previous project that I did. So I wanted to show you, I'm just gonna show you here how I attach a bezel to already pre-made, you know, usually what I'll do is I'll solder it onto the piece, but you just have to be a little bit more careful this way. So here's my stone, and I wanna make sure that I use a super thin or a shallow bezel wire, because you know already that I have a hollow form here. You know, I have a hollow form, so I don't want it to stand up too high, especially at the bottom of my piece. Remember, the whole time I'm thinking about, you know, where my pieces are gonna land. This is the tail end charm of my piece. So I wanna make sure that, you know, it's not a big clunky thing down on the bottom. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Now I know, it's always hard to show you guys where I'm cutting because I have to have my hands there. So anyway, I think you guys all know how to set a bezel. I just thought I'd throw this in as a little bit of extra. Why not, right? Why not? And then you guys can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. Snipped it, I'm gonna close this up nice and tight. Just to remind you guys, shallow, tiny stones. You guys saw how I had my hands around there. I wanna check from the inside to make sure that I can't see light. There we go, that looks good. In fact, I might even, but I'm gonna solder here because I'm really trying to keep this board clean, because then I can demo more for you guys. Okay, there's my marker. I can see my marker. I'm gonna put it here, and there's my little stone. I know it's hard to see. Get my bezel out of the way, and I'll just zip it up super quick. Get a little bit of hard solder. I try to remember on what parts I put my hard solder. You know, I have little solders around, but then, you know, if I do forget, I've got little collections laying around that I can use just maybe when I'm zipping up a bezel or working with links where I only have to go in one time. Okay, get my torch going, work with it pretty low because I'm working on the tiniest of bezels. And of course, I'm so addicted to pick soldering. I think I mentioned that it just is so quick. And get this pick soldering done. There we go. Okay. Now, get my stone set. Pull this all back, and look, it's nice and cool for you guys. It's like Betty Crocker, you know? Okay. Betty Crocker. Okay. So get my stone set. So when you're setting your small stone too, I work with these pliers here, and I just work, you know, I know some people work in a vise, everyone works different ways. I just kind of put my hand over the top and I work with getting my piece set this way. Okay, there we go. Now I'm just going to go ahead and brief it over. Sometimes I keep the stone in there, but I don't want to do any damage to my tourmaline. So go ahead and get this sanded on the top. You can see how I just work with these small ones. They're kind of tricky sometimes. So once I get this done, I'll just lay it back on top of here. I can see the whole bottom is nice and white. Lay it back onto my stone, hold the top down. I know you guys can't see, but that really is the way to work with the tiniest of stones. Okay, we're gonna get this soldered on. You can see it's just gonna be the stone here. I'm not gonna worry about wire on the outside. Remember to put your stone somewhere where you're not gonna forget it. Doesn't matter here if I work flat on my stones. Oh my gosh, I have the dirty. Let me try to get you guys at least a cleaner one here. You can see how dirty. I'm sure your guys look the same, right? Nice and dirty. I think you can see it better. Yay. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to get in and make sure this stays centered because I don't have a lot of room on here. And get my torch. Get it warmed up. I don't need my screen because I actually don't need my screen. I want to make sure it's covered from all areas, and I can see that it is. Going to get me a little bit of medium solder while my other pieces are sitting in there, and just get it all pushed to the side. I don't really need this much because normally I'll put in a lot of extra, but that's if I am planning on putting, you guys know how I do my twisted wire. You guys know how I do a lot of things like that. If you guys don't know this, just pop over to Alchemy of Soldering. But I wanted, with Alchemy of Soldering and with my program, I show all large, larger pieces or medium pieces, because large and small is going to be a little bit trickier. So with this, the place that I want to put my heat is right up against here. So I'm gonna go, right around the side. Don't wanna knock these off. I do know that I put all of these on with a medium, so my ends, I'm not gonna have trouble getting my ends knocked off, but make sure this flows. And I'm just gonna, first of all, heat very gently around the sides. Careful, should have put, okay, you can see that beautiful little silver that happened. And that's all I'm doing with this bezel here besides setting my stone. Let me go ahead and get this quenched. Voila, it'll be beautiful for the end. I'm really excited. I'll show you guys setting this stone if you want to. Okay, you guys. Here is my bezel where I put together. I'm not going to add anything else to it. There's my stone. I want to show you guys how this one, since we did it on the hollow form, I just wanted to show you how is a quick way to keep the bottom clean. When you're working with, when you're working with these beautiful vibrant stones, you want to make sure you don't get liver of sulfur under your piece. So actually when I do put this in the liver of sulfur, I really want to make sure that I pack this, that I can pack this wax in here. So this is the wax that I showed you guys. Smells so much like shoe polishing. So that I used to have for used to polish my dad's shoes. So it's packed in here pretty good. I'm going to put this in liver of sulfur. I also am going to make sure that it's not gonna bother, I see a little bit here, so I wanna take away this wax. And again, this type of wax, it's non-toxic, so you don't mind having it on your hands, All this stuff, it's like I wash my hands probably, oh my gosh, 50 times a day, right? Okay, I'm gonna dip it in, I'll be right back. Okay, there's my stone. My liver of sulfur is not that hot, so it keeps the wax in here pretty good. I'm just gonna let it soak. So my liver of sulfur is not quite heated up, which works well because you get kind of like a slow growth with your liver of sulfur, and it's not hot enough to melt my wax out of here. So I'll show you guys when I bring it back in. Okay, so here's my piece. It's full of liver of sulfur. I actually have it at a really low temperature, so I did get a beautiful color, but you can see the wax is still intact And I'm gonna take this wax out and look at how beautiful the background is. So that is how you really use the wax. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so pretty, this piece. Okay, so then what I'm gonna do, always still, no matter what, I still use my brushes. Oh my gosh, I love my brushes. So this is where I just really brush as soon as it comes out of the pickle or other places like that. And I don't polish until I have my stone in there. So that's really when I polish. So let me get on the inside of this. I'm gonna actually clean this out super good. It has a little bit of a wax sealant on here. I don't want to take off all of it because that actually will help to seal the back so it all looks really good. Okay, this stone I'm not going to lift. I have pretty shallow and it's a shallow stone. So I'll get my piece placed in here. Nice, there we go. It'll be pretty recessed. It'll, you know, just a tiny bit of it'll peek over. Then again, I think you guys know I love these for setting, and I'm just gonna lay my finger on top and very gently go around the sides as I discuss. This one should, you know, could have used a little bit of a lift, but I'm really excited about, sometimes, you know, it just gives you more of a florally look, and it all depends on what you like. You know, I kind of am excited about just the idea of you know, a more shallow stone and having a lot of bezel covering on here because that's a decorative part of it too. You can see I am not going over my stone whatsoever. So my stone is safe. And then, you know, you can take your traditional bezel setter like this one here. And I usually will pick this up in my hands at this point, but you know, you're just gonna really get over and smooth your piece over on the sides. Look at this. I get a nice florally shape from having my bezel recessed in here. So that, you know, it's like just trying all different ways. This is the final bezel, the Root Chakra bezel. Bye.